All right. So person A, we'll name him Rich. Rich is just getting off of work. And he's getting off of work and he looks on his phone. He's checking out because he's in the week 6 of a 12-week program. And he looks on his workout log on his phone and he's just like, it's leg day today. And then he gives it a gas face, like, and he doesn't feel like doing it. He doesn't feel motivated at all whatsoever. So Rich he gets in the car after work. It was like he has a lot on his mind. Work was terrible. So he just goes straight home. And he's just like, whatever. Sits on the couch, turns on Marvel Rivals, and starts getting busy. Right? But the multiverse version of Rich gets out of work and he calls his homeboy. We'll name him Steve. All right. So he calls Steve up. And basically Steve is the hype man, right? So Steve is basically Rich's spliff star to his Buster, right? So he's he's the hype man of all hype men, right? So Steve picks up the phone and was like, "What's up?" Rich is like, "Hey man, look, I'm probably not gonna make it today." Steve doesn't even let him finish what he's saying. He's just like, "Bro, what are we doing? First of all, I'm already in the gym. PRs don't break themselves. Man up, let's go." Then Steve, you could hear it all in the background and everything like that. So then Steve he's already there. He's already crushing it. So what Rich does then, he drives and look, the gym is on the way home. Drives, goes to the gym, links up with Steve, and they both lift out of their mind. And although they can't walk afterwards, they leave feeling motivated and feeling like they accomplished something. Rich then goes back home after that, pops open a protein shake, sits on the couch, and then plays Marvel Rivals. But after, and only after, accomplishing something. What am I saying here? There's value in grabbing a workout buddy. There is value in calling your homie up and saying, "Hey, look, let's lock in." There's value in calling your girl and going, "Hey, are you going to be there? Because I'm going to be there." There's value in the workout buddy. Okay? And there are huge benefits to grabbing a friend and working out. So getting that workout buddy improves performance. And even outside that, it strengthens the bond between you and said workout buddy, right? That's another one. It multiplies the stress reduction. It increases motivation. It increases adherence to a particular program. So let's just say like Rich and Steve, they're doing this program together. They're doing this 12-week program together. There is a greater likelihood that Rich and Steve are going to complete that 12-week program because they're doing it together, right? So those are the main benefits, and there's plenty more, of grabbing a workout buddy. And see, the thing is, friends in general play a big portion in a healthy person's life, right? You know, there are so many benefits that have actually been studied, right? Like there are a whole bunch of studies to support this as well, that having friends is good for you. Not having friends, not so great for you. And so friendship in general, socializing in general, can help you stave off a lot of these negative effects of stuff, right? So, you know, typically people who have friends and who have close friends or somebody close that they whether that be family, friends, whatever, but they have somebody that's close, they typically have better health markers. So think about it this way. So much so that, remember back in the day when they did those studies initially talking about like, and the whole thing came out, it was like, hey, a glass of wine a day is really good for your heart. And then, you know, years down the line, it was just like, wait, but and even more studies are coming out now, but alcohol is not really that good for you in any amount. So then people are trying to balance out the two. The thing is, what these initial studies back then, what they didn't account for is the friend factor. A lot of people drink socially, right? And it's hard to quantify that. I get it, but still, that has a big role, and I don't think that was counted in any of those studies. So they just assume that the chemicals and the compounds that are in red wine are so beneficial to you that it causes all of this stuff. There's a really good chance that those chemicals and those compounds aren't really they're not telling the entire story here. So they're missing the part about the friendship. They're missing the part about the socialization. They're missing the part about people are having fun with each other, and they just so happen to be drinking red wine. You know what I mean? So it's like, so there's a factor there. There's a small nuanced portion of that we definitely should start counting, and it's just the benefits of friends, the benefits of friendship, right? The benefits of not being alone. You know what I mean? But let me get back. Let me get back here, right? So let's go over each of those reasons, though, right? And one of them I didn't mention that's popping up now is you may have more fun doing it, right? Now remember, a handful of episodes back, I was telling you about the benefits to actually having fun, right? Why adults should go out and have fun, do fun things, and find out what your play personality is. You remember all that stuff? If you don't, I advise you to go back to that episode and listen to that. It was opening up that episode, right? But there's value in playing. There's value in friendship. There's value in playing. And if you play with friends, you're right. And it sounds so kiddie. It sounds so simple. But I think, and it's just from a more of a philosophical perspective, I think we tend to get caught up in adulting too much. We tend to get caught up in all of the woes of being an adult that we kind of forget how to do the fun things that we naturally did when we were younger, right? So there's so many things, and there's so many instances. It's not even just with this, having fun or playing or anything like that. But there's some for some reason we get into adulthood and we have to turn off all these other things because it's not seen as like being an adult or whatever. I don't even have my thumb really placed on that one too well, but there's a big difference between the adults who know how to have fun and the adults who do have fun and the ones who don't. And it's like, and I mean, even when it comes down to health markers. So it's a benefit for you to find some friends to work out with, find some friends to have fun with, So that's one part, right? That big part, I would say, or rather, maybe not a big part, but an underestimated part, right? It has something to do with your health overall, right? So let's talk about the stress reduction portion here, right? So if you're having fun, you're obviously not stressed, right? Your body releases all those endorphins and all that feel-good hormones and all that fun stuff, right? We talked about that quite a bit already, so I don't need to, tread that ground anymore. But another big part of that is really the adherence or the motivation and the adherence, right? When I just told you the story about about Rich and Steve, right? Rich was not at all motivated to do anything. Steve hyped him up, right? you need that hype man every now and again, though, right? But Steve hyped him up, basically gave him that motivation boost, right? There's a big benefit there. It's a big benefit. And it makes it more likely for you to actually complete the workout and continue on with the working out, right? Completing that program. So I always suggest people like, hey, look, if you're going to grab a homie, go on an 8-week program, both of y'all knock it out. Because now you can hold each other accountable, right? Now it's just like, I don't want to go and let that other person down, right? That plays a part in a lot of people's minds, right? So it makes it more likely for you to complete this program or complete this workout or whatever it may be, all right? And oftentimes, for two reasons that I can think of, right? You get you have better performance, right? Both of you will have better performance typically, right? Whether that's because of the competitive nature that seems to come up every now and again, or because you're just having that much fun, right? Those are the two big driving points that I see typically when people are working out together, right? They draw energy from each other, and they push each other even further, and it's like almost like a confidence boost type thing, right? I see that a lot. And then that's where the allure for group training really is. It's the motivation, but it's the confidence boost, right? It's like you have other people in here, maybe at the same level, maybe not, but you're all kind of cheering each other on. You're all trying to, do the best for yourself, but you're also hoping for the best for everybody else in there. So it's like collectively, you're all trying to raise the level a little bit there. That typically leads to better performance. Now, we already know the competitive part is just like, oh man, my buddy just lifted 225. I know I could do that. You know what? In times past, you might not even try it. But here and now, at this point, where you see your homeboy just lifted 225 for the first time, and you're just like, you know what? I think I could do it too, right? So then you go on there, you lift 225. Why do I think 225? I'm thinking of the bench press, if you don't already know. I don't think I even said that, but I'm thinking about the bench press. Either way, right? It's a motivating factor, right? Now, you also have to be careful, right? Because the competition and the confidence boost and all that fun stuff and all the motivation could sometimes potentially push you into the area of or a high risk area of injury, right? So you also have to make sure that you temper it too. But then there's another benefit to working out with somebody, because a lot of times, especially like if that other person that you're working out with happens to be a personal trainer, right? I mean, there's another benefit to having a personal trainer right there, right? Because your personal trainer oftentimes becomes your friend, right? The friend that you love to cuss out, right? So, there's also an added, potentially, right? It doesn't always work out like this, but there's an added safety net there for you. Like, hopefully your workout buddy isn't going to let you just, push astronomically past what you're actually able to do, right? Maybe incrementally a little bit more. Oh no, you got that. I've seen you do this. You could do this, right? But not like, I've never seen you even come close to that. Go ahead and try it. Like that doesn't work. That's not good. So, there's that added safety feature with working out with someone, especially like just bare bones. You got somebody to spot you. Now, hopefully they know how to do that. And that's another topic, but still there's the benefit, right? And then, like the last thing, or I guess this is maybe the first thing I said initially, was it strengthens bonds between people. And those bonds, like, again, I don't think I can overstate how important it is to have that connection to someone else, right? And it doesn't have to be weird or anything like that, but it's just like those bonds are important for your health, right? So that's why, like, when I'm in this area, when I'm in this health and wellness area, right, a lot of things that I talk about tend to deal with relationships, right? Because those are very important in how you end up being, and they show up one way or the other. And I'm going to talk about that even more when I talk about the third part of the SCAL method, right? But it's just the benefit to having someone there and working out with them and forging those bonds. Man, I wish there was a way to actually measure that, because if there was, I think more people would really opt for doing that. But a lot of people get it already, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, nobody understands this. This isn't new, but man, I just, there are so many benefits to having that buddy right there with you, and y'all just in there, just getting it. Like it's great. It's great. It's a great thing. So Next time you go work out, next time you hit up that, or try a group training session. I have a, and I'm not going to go too deep into this one, but I have a kind of a I have a weird relationship with group training. And it's only because there has to be a way. Like, I love lifting, but I haven't really seen a good lifting group training setup. And I'm not taking shots or anything like that, but it's just like, yeah, well, I go do this, and or we go do, CrossFit or whatever, right? And it's just like, yeah, I I don't necessarily think that's the optimal setup there, right? Because just like, weightlifting is definitely a skill. It's a skill that you kind of have to learn and perfect over time. And if you're not really teaching directly in a group training session, then you're missing a lot of what makes weight training beneficial. And hence the reason why a lot of people get hurt when that's not present. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Now, look, you're going to go do like a spin class or something like that. Great, right? And that's a prime example of, kind of feeding off everybody else's energy, right? Feeding off the instructor's energy, having people around and y'all in there, y'all getting it, right? Perfect example over there. I don't know of any perfect examples when it comes to weightlifting, right? Like, and I could be completely wrong. And I know there's somebody out there who is doing it and doing it well. I don't see that anywhere. So, like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into it. But either way, you go out, call your buddy up, call your girlfriend up, call your homie up, go get them like, yeah, hey, look, we up, let's go, right? Do that, because there's so many benefits to it. And if worse comes worse, if you don't have anybody who's on that same level as you are, who's going out there working out or whatever, go try a group training session, and see, of course, again, you have to be mindful of what you're getting into, of course, but there are benefits to being around people and backtrack, or just go get a personal trainer. Go get a cool personal trainer. And that'll work just as well, right? So go ahead and do that. Let's keep it moving.